and thank you, Brother Chris. How you doing, my man?
God bless you, man.
God
I'm
bless
doing
you
well, sir.
too.
Thank you for
Yes,
asking.
indeed. Thanks for doing what you do. Yes, indeed. And good to see Brother Neil Owens there. How you doing, man?
Happy to be here, man. Praise God.
All right, thank God. Amen to that, boy. You say thank you twice. I'm telling you, all the stuff going on these days in the world. Whew.
Yeah, a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah, yeah. I look forward to this. You know, nice respite here at the Writers Workshop every single Friday night. For those persons who don't know, we are the Writers Workshop, and we're on Facebook Live. Thanks to the good brother Chris Thomas and the wonderful program that he has. I think let me see. How do I have my camera up here somewhere? Okay, but I have myself all. I don't know what I'm doing here. Let me see if I can get myself into. I'll just let it go like that, man. It's all good. I'll be the messed up everything. But anyhow, but yeah, Neil, well, to the folks, we are on every Friday night here from 7 until 9. And we have people like Brother Neil Owens, who's an outstanding novelist out of North Carolina. And he is, well, man, how many books do you have out, Neil?
I have three. I have three. I'm working on my fourth
Mhm.
now.
Okay. And so we'll be talking to Brother Neil about his work and what he does. And as writers, we come on and we use this time to talk about a lot of things. We also bring in, thanks to Brother Chris Thomas, he does some videos that have various poets and sometimes even storytellers. And we'll, bring those on and, just enjoy some of the great spoken word that's out there in the world. There's some good stuff out there, man. And then also we talk about upcoming events in our areas. We're usually joined by Ro Brady, who's an outstanding, poet as well as playwright and art and novelist. She's done all three of those very, very well. By the way, I called her. Was that last week? What time? When did I call her? But anyhow, she was stepping out of the White House as we were talking. I'm like, "You where?" And she said, "We're just walking out of the White House." And her and her husband. Her husband is on the special committee that's working very closely with Joe Biden, President Biden, and also the White House people from all over the country. And so they were invited to the White House, and it was quite a blast. And she had it on Facebook as well, meeting with the president and all that kind of stuff. So hats off to Roa and her husband. They're doing great stuff, and so that's really good. We also have Wendy Noche Onya, and I really missed the fact that she had a reading down at the Black Bookstore that we all kind of just discovered here in Harrisburg area. It's in Lingelstown, Pennsylvania. And so anyhow, she had a reading that Saturday. And also she had a gentleman who came in from California who's a good buddy of hers. They do a radio program right here on The Voice, 17104 Harrisburg and 17104.com. And they do it on Thursday evenings from 7 to 8. And so I was sorry to get a chance, my schedule and hers just didn't match up. But hats off to her. So hopefully, if we get a chance to see Wendy tonight, she'll come on. Dr. Dan Snowden, who's a scientist here in Harrisburg, he took up poetry, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years ago, and he's really written some really interesting stuff. And he comes on a lot of times quite late here on our program, but he's very consistent. Along with Lizelle Powder, she does the Powder Room every Saturday morning at 11:30 right here on The Voice from 11:30 until 12. And she is an outstanding poet as well as a wonderful artist. I've actually purchased some of her work, and she's out in New York. Dan is here in Harrisburg. Who am I missing? Neil. Maria Chow will come on at times, and she's she a wonderful poet, and she actually has a workshop coming up tomorrow, which I hope if I get a chance to stop by. I don't know. They're talking about some serious snow come up through the air, so I might be in for the duration over this weekend, at least until Sunday. But we'll see. But I'm wishing her the best because she's a very good, not poet, just an outstanding poet, but also a teacher. She's been a college professor here in the central Pennsylvania area for a long time. And, she did actually some of our better workshops that we've had over the last 47 years. Maria conducted those. And her father, by the way, is an outstanding poet. He had a show on here on The Voice for the longest time. And we're going to wish him well because he just experienced a setback in terms of his health. But Mr. Richard James, has a wonderful program, very Afrocentric brother, and has been on the battlefield for a long time out of Chester, Pennsylvania. And so Maria comes from that lineage and that stock. And both of them are published poets and do a lot of good stuff. So anyhow, I can go on and on and on, but just really good to have this opportunity. Dil, let me turn it over to you, my man. So tell me what's going on and what's happening.
Not a whole lot. I've just been very busy, Nate. Writing and working on this piece, man. I'm trying to get it done so I can get to the editor sometime in May.
All right.
I
Good,
mean,
good.
the 1st of May. I'm gonna get it to the editor the 1st of May so that because I want to release it in September.
All right. Excellent. Excellent. Looking forward to it, man, because you have some good stuff, brother. You always, every time you read, it's fascinating and it's good writing, So I'm looking forward to, when you bring that out. And hopefully we'll talk about more of that tonight too, because we're hoping also that when we have this platform that we can inspire other persons to write. Having said that, by the way, I do want to send out a shout out to Kaba Brunson, Damali Brunson, and my wife Pat Gadsden, and all the other persons involved in the NAACP Axle competition. That's going to come up on here in Central Pennsylvania on April the 13th. And last year we took 16 students to Boston, Massachusetts, and had a great time. This year they're going out to Las Vegas, Nevada, and it's going to be a blast. I know they're going to enjoy Las Vegas. I love Las Vegas. I had a good time out there. You stay away from that gambling and go to some of the shows.
Yeah.
They will take your shirt if you let them. But it's a fascinating place, man. It really is. But I'm looking forward to the kids just enjoying themselves, seeing those major structures out there and all that, but also competing against some of the best in the country. And so, having said that, I'm hopefully setting up a platform. And Neil, I'd like you to help me with this to get some of the young people who are writers to come on and let's talk with them and and give us some encouragement and some feedback on their works. Because when they go to do the actual local competition, they'll have judges that won't be us, and so we can actually give them some feedback, and then they'll hopefully will be ready and prepared. At least put the best foot forward. And the thing about it is, man, you can do the best that you can do, and then you get out there in this national competition, even local competition, and there's someone who's better. It just says it is what it is. But as long as you do your best, that's all you can ask. Just do your best, man.
That's
So,
right.
yeah. So that's why we encourage the kids. Yeah, man. Now we have about 35 young people signed up, and which is, that's a good number. But when you consider all the young people in this area that really should take a chance, and a lot of them won't. They just they're afraid or they're not that good. And think about it. They don't have to pay a dime to go out to the national competition. They go out there, they even get a stipend. Brother Kaba, he's on it, man. He really makes it happen. And so, great ambassador for that program. And there's 2 young ladies in the past 2 years won $10,000 scholarships. So that's another reason why. And they just wrote essays. That's all they had to do. Write an essay, and then you send your essay in, and it's going to be compared to all the other essays in the country. And they pick out 40 from around the country. And twice in 2 years, we've had 2 young ladies from Harrisburg win. Man, that come on, $10,000. I'll be writing right now, my brother. Why not take a chance, man?
That's right.
But I'm hopefully, So I'm gonna assembly, hopefully get with you and maybe a couple other people, and then we're gonna let the young people sign up. We're not gonna try to force them, but if they want to sign up to meet with us by Zoom, and then we can hear their presentation, give them some feedback and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know how your schedule is. I know you're a busy man, but if that
I'll find some time for that. Absolutely.
All right, that's excellent. Excellent. Okay. Good. And we'll try to keep it down to 3 to 5 people. I don't want to hold up much folks, but 3 to 5 people, and just give them some solid feedback and get them prepared, man. So okay, great. Good stuff. And let me say this too to people out there in Facebook land. When I mentioned the NAACP Axle competition, is for any student. By the way, Axle stands for Afro Academic, Cultural, Technological, Scientific Olympics. Afro Academic, Cultural, Technological, Scientific Olympics started in 1978, I believe, was officially when they joined in with the NAACP, and has been going strong ever since. So that's a long history. And people, some major stars started out their career in AXA. People like Anthony Anderson, Jada Pinkett Smith, and just a host of other folks. So yeah, keep that in mind. Get these young people involved, tell them about it. And if you don't know much about it, just go online, look up NACP, AXO, and no matter what state you're in, if you're watching this in another state, yeah, you have it in your state as well. And I think every state is represented when we go to the nationals, and they have it really laid out. It is so well organized. The headquarters is in Baltimore, Maryland, and the brother who runs that thing knows what he's doing. He's good, and he has a crew. Every state he goes into, he does a lot of advanced work. So he's probably working hard right now to pull all that stuff together for July. July is when we go out to the national. I think it's July the 14th, something like that. But anyhow, so if you have a young person, for example, real quick, there's a guy I work with. He's from Uganda, and he's coming to me a couple of weeks ago, and he said, "Hey, man, were you at the Black History? The Martin Luther King program?" I was in Hershey. I said, "Oh, yeah, And he said, "Well, you saw my daughter there, and she was the violinist." I said, "Wait a minute, you mean that 10th grade?" He said, "Yeah. Man, that girl can play. She's a prodigy." And so I'm like, "Come on, man." So I said, "Well, he never heard of it." And so I'm thinking now we need her. And so I'm going to really stay on top of him to be in that competition, because she could take on anybody in the country. And believe me, they have some major artists. They put on a big production at the end of the 4 days. And I'm telling you, man, the cats up there, you see the next Count Basie, the next Aretha Franklin, they bring it. They really are good. And so so it's a blast. Anyhow, I say all that. But sign your kids up if you get a chance to. Remember, 9th grade to 12th grade, they all qualify, okay? All right. So what was I gonna tell you? You got a big glare. I don't know if that light, if you know that when you move over to one side, I mean, it's okay with me. I'm just saying, I don't know if that bothers you or not. Yeah. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. So anyhow, oh yeah, you're muted right now, Neil. Yeah, you're muted right now. Mhm. No, can't hear you. You're muted. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe are you trying to unmute? There you go.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, I got you. All right. Yeah,
Come on, pick up.
like that cross back there, man. It's nice. Cross on your wall.
Get these one.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stop making me like a fool. You did it all day.
Yeah, but anyhow, so okay, good stuff. Well, anyhow,
Get over there.
this is Black History. Oh, got the dogs. I forgot you dog. You got the dogs. That's all right, man. It's all good. It's all good. I'm surprised you. And have you ever included that's like your not a hobby. What do you call it? I mean, because you raise dogs, right?
Yeah. Actually, a dog breeder
Okay.
of multi-poodles and miniature poodles.
Go ahead, man. Have you ever just written about that, or have you included them in any
No.
stories or anything like that? That don't even marry the two together, huh? All right.
No.
How long you been doing that, Neil?
Since it's been 4 years now.
All right. And what got you into it?
Since 2020.
Yeah, what got you into it?
My wife.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, she came up with the idea to do it, so we just did it.
Did she have experience in doing it, or it just
No, we had Maltese and we had miniature poodles.
wow,
So we decided let's go ahead and just breed them.
man. And then do you like sell them kind of thing?
Yeah,
People
yeah.
coming by and nothing. Go ahead. All right. Wow. That's what I say, man. It's amazing when you talk to people, the different things people are into, the hobby skills, that kind of thing. And they say you can take anything and turn it into something that could be enhancing your life. You know what I mean? Yeah. I had an uncle, man. This guy, he's passed now. And young guy too when he passed. But anyhow, he was into trains. You know how you get those small trains that make noises and all that kind of stuff. This guy could do anything with his hands, man. He had people literally from all over the country because he published in some magazine or he's told about whatever. And these guys would come from all over, man, and they would come and look at your stuff and see what you're doing and get ideas and all that. He put thousands and thousands of dollars into that hobby, man. Kept it right in his house, you know. And I'm like, bro, well, you know, what? But hey, you know, lucrative, man. He went to shows and everything. Dudes came in for his advice, you know. I'm like, okay. And I grew up with him, so I have no idea how he just one day woke up and said, I'm gonna start collecting trains. Good stuff. Had bridges, little water things, all kinds of stuff, man. You know, yeah. I mean, he spent hours hooking that bad boy up, you know. And some of those trains would run $600, $700, $800 for that little one car, you know, just that one car, you know. I'm like, man. Anyhow, so that's what's our subject for tonight. I know it's Black History Month, and you know, oh, by the way, I did a reading, man. It was an interesting thing. This brother heard me read some poetry, and so he came up to me. He has his own theater called Narcissus Theater. I think that's the way you pronounce it. Anyhow, he's doing some really cutting edge. It's a brother. He's doing some real cutting edge stuff. And we have three, I would say maybe four serious African American theater companies operating right now that are doing really good stuff. Went to a play this past week. This group is called Sankofa African American Theater Company, and they put on a play concerning it's called the Jackson Rooming House, and it's right here in Harrisburg, right up on 6th Street. It's torn down now, but that Jackson Rooming House used to have people like Count Basie. All the greats came through Harrisburg at one time, and who knew? You know what I mean? And when they were just passing through, going to the New Yorks or whatever, and they would stay at this Jackson Rooming House because, you know, back in the day, Black folks couldn't just stay anywhere they wanted to stay. And
Right.
so, yeah, Count Basie and Ella Fitzgerald, and they named them all. And so they did a play around that, and they did the research first. They really could tell you chapter and verse when they came and all that kind of stuff, you know. Good stuff, man. Really good stuff. But anyhow, this brother, he asked me, he said, will you read, you do a reading? He said, and it's really a reader's theater. You don't have to act at all. We just going to read it. And so on Wednesday, we read excerpts of speeches by Frederick Douglass. And it was powerful. There's a guy who's really pretty much a genius as far as I'm concerned in Black history. His name is Linwood Sloan. And his sister, Bev Smith. Bev Smith was the Oprah Winfrey before Oprah Winfrey back in the 60s and 70s out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. She had the hottest show going. And she's very, you know, sort of controversial. She's hard hitting. And she's now living here in Harrisburg. You know, she's gotten up in age and all that. But she was dynamite, man. So we interviewed her, my wife and I, on the show. But anyhow, we read this piece by Frederick Douglass, and man, it was well put together. And there's 6 brothers, and we got together and rehearsed 2 or 3 times, and then we just simply read it. And then around that, we had a whole program there. So anyhow, hats off to Linwood Sloan. He wrote the whole piece, put it up, you know, wrote it in the sense that he pulled all those speeches together and then made it flow. And then he's a historian, so he kept it moving by telling you the story of Frederick Douglass and what Frederick Douglass was trying to accomplish at that particular time. I was glad I did it. I said, I'll give it a shot because I'm no actor. I don't want to be on no stage. But reading that was powerful though. So I'm glad I did that, man. So anyhow, that's what my week was like, you know.
That was a good week.
Yeah. It was good stuff, man. There's a lot of stuff about Frederick Douglass I didn't really know, you know, and especially when you delve into his speeches and why he was, who he was speaking to at the time. At one point, he's speaking to the white audience and white leaders. Another time, he's speaking to Black leaders who were opposing his views, you know, and, you know, W.B. Du Bois and all of those, they were having some serious public debates. And at one point, there were a number of people who were talking about going back to Africa or, you know, creating colonies. That's where Liberia comes from and all that. And he was against that. And so he spoke about how we needed to stay here and, you know, we needed to strengthen Africa, but also strengthen where we are and that we were born here. You know, at that point, we were 286 years into our existence here in this country. And he's like, no, we you know, this is our country, much as it is yours. You know, what are you talking about? And it's powerful stuff. But anyhow, that's what's going on there, man. So okay, well, tell us, for those persons who don't know you, then tell us about the book that you're working on. For anyone who's new, that you would be new to them or whatever. And just give them some glimpse of this is the fourth. And do you call it a series, or is this book totally divorced
No,
from?
not a
Okay,
series, all
okay,
separate. The piece I was planning to release this year was The Storyteller.
Mhm.
And I decided to hold off on that because I was working on the rise and fall of the Fourth Reich.
Mhm.
And I think this particular piece is right timely as to the environment that we're in today.
Mhm.
So that's why
Mhm.
I decided to get this one done and release this one because it's a much more serious piece. It's fiction.
Okay.
Much storyteller. Storyteller is full of a lot of different things, a lot of new
Yeah,
adult stuff, a lot of comedy, and
yeah.
different things.
Mhm. Mhm.
But this one is a very serious piece.
That's good, man. Yeah. And like you said, you think about the times and where we're in and all the nonsense that's going on with this, former president and all these people who are,
Right.
call themselves the MAGAs and megas or whatever the heck they call themselves and all that stuff. It's amazing. It's amazing time, man. Amazing time. Yeah.
Yeah,
So your book kind of touches on all that?
yeah. Touches on it, man. It touches on a lot of things that will probably, people don't, they sit back and think about, say, well, damn, I wonder, yeah. I mean, it goes back to, starts off in 1945
Mm-hmm.
at the end of World War II. You know, there was very powerful, the CIA, they recruited powerful Nazi members of the
Mm-hmm.
Nazi party to become spies for communists because they
Mm-hmm.
was very, the Russians were gaining a lot of territory at the end of World War II. They had moved in, had over Ukraine, over Poland.
Mm-hmm.
They were moving in. They were gaining a lot. So they were the next threat was the
Mm-hmm.
communists, the Russians. So the Americans, CIA recruited Nazis, powerful members of the Nazi party to become spies. And so
Now,
the
spies
story,
against the Nazis or spies against the United States?
no, they were spying for the United States against
That's
Russia.
the Russians. Gotcha. That's what I thought.
They
Okay.
were spying for the United States against the Russians.
Mm-hmm.
And they were given place into America.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So the
Do you know
story
what
is
time?
about
I'm sorry, go ahead.
the story is about this group who infiltrate the American political system
Mm-hmm.
to raise the Fourth Reich.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly how the Third Reich rose. It was through
Mm-hmm.
the political system. Germany was a democracy.
Okay.
And
Mm-hmm.
Hitler came into power and he overturned it.
Mm.
And so that's how they started, because they started by getting people into what's called the parliament. It was a bunch of the Nazi party became influential and they got control of the parliament. It's like what would be Congress today.
Oh, yeah.
And just like that, man,
Mm-hmm.
they
Yeah.
took over.
Took over, man. And people think that stuff, I hear people say, oh, that's history. No, that's history repeats itself if we're not
That's
careful.
right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
There are people who are students of history who will be intentionally trying to recreate that stuff. They're like, oh, he did this and was able to
Oh
get
yeah,
power.
absolutely, man.
They definitely
Absolutely. I
do
mean,
that.
this is I mean, serious stuff, and people are sleeping on a lot of things that's going on, not really
Mhm.
thinking about these things. Like,
Yeah,
it's just like Watergate. I mean, they thought, most people think Watergate was just a burglary. I mean, just some petty stuff. I mean,
yeah.
no, these people were Nixon was planning on becoming president for life, man.
Hey, man,
He was planning on removing the Democratic Party. That's what that was all about. He was trying to get the evidence and all this stuff, trying to get stuff so they could make it look like and eliminate the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
That's what it was all about.
But you know, and listen, the history's right there, but who's reading it? And then when they do read it, they try to figure out a way to debunk it. And it's like, no, what are you talking about? And so it's amazing how we sleep on that stuff, like you said. And you try to talk to the average person about this stuff, but they just glaze over. I don't know, you know, they don't want
Yeah,
to
man,
hear it.
this was a serious move. I mean, it's a lot going on, and it's a lot about America that people need to learn about just what America is and how closely America is to the beliefs of the Nazi Party.
And you know what's interesting? At the same time, this period of time that you're talking about was the McCarthy era, where he was running around here trying to brand
Yeah,
everybody a
right,
communist and this and that.
right.
So the question becomes, was that a smoke screen, you know, or was that just something that, you know, how would you
It, it,
characterize that whole
it wasn't a
dynamic?
smokescreen because the Nazis hate the communists. The
Okay.
Nazis hate the communists. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, so that's the thing. The only thing that the Nazis hate more than communism is democracy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that they definitely don't want. And as you see things moving around and how these things is playing out, like it's like today, it's like, you know, you look back, it's like when you just look back on the pieces of everything with Nixon, and you just think about Nixon and you say, I mean, you think about Nixon's powerful men, Secretary of State, Secretary of Defense. I mean, you see these people, you say who they were, and all these men, Nixon's men, Ehrlich men, Haldeman. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
those are Germans.
Mm-hmm.
Those
Mm-hmm.
things
Mm-hmm.
are Germans. And you know, G. Gordon Liddy, you remember him? G. Gordon Liddy,
Yeah.
when he went to prison, when he came out of prison, they had an interview. I remember watching it, man, on Tom Brokaw. I'm still kind of
Yeah.
young, you know, but I
Yeah.
was into stuff. I was looking at the news a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And this man, when he came out of prison, had all the press in there, you know, and he spoke in German. Tom
Okay.
Brokaw didn't tell me what he said. He said he spoke in German. Brokaw guys didn't know what he said either, but because he you
Mm-hmm.
know he didn't speak German, but he said he spoke it in German. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's what he spoke in German
Yeah.
when he came out
Mm-hmm.
of prison. I mean, you can pull that
Mm-hmm.
stuff up on, you know, you can Google all that, and all these are
Oh
factual
yeah.
stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh
So
yeah.
that's a very, I mean, this is these people, man, and it's just like when you look at the things and you say, okay, well, they had this power thing, and then you remember when Reagan was elected president?
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
remember they had the when he was sworn. You remember they had the because we had that crisis over there against Carter with the Iran, and they
Absolutely.
had the
Yeah. Yeah.
hostages and all that.
Yeah. American held hostage
Yeah,
for
yeah,
nine
that went on for a
days.
long
Something like that.
time. And
Yeah.
then what's
Yeah.
this? And then you remember when Reagan was being just before Reagan was sworn in,
Mm-hmm.
that's when they released the hostages.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
As Reagan was going in, they released the hostages like they were scared of Reagan.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it made look like they were scared of Reagan, and they
Uh-huh.
didn't release the release hostages was being all on the news, man. They
Mm-hmm.
airplane on there, and they leaving them because Nick Reagan is getting ready to become president. They were
Yeah.
scared. I mean, that's the image they put out there. So I mean,
Yeah.
somebody got paid, man. You know,
Oh, of course they did.
so it's all
And
this.
remember
Yeah,
also he
and
had the
this is
wall come
really,
down, the Berlin
really,
Wall.
these people, man, really have a conspiracy, and so it's like he just. So this whole story is really connected. It's a fictional piece, man. It connects a lot of stuff going into what occurred and how these people came into political power. And when you look at that, it references some of the things that existed, you know. It's just like with Reagan. I mean, Reagan was shot like 2 months after he became president. He was just set up for a puppet. And he was
Mm,
shot 2 months before he became president. I mean, 2 months after he was president, he was shot. Attempted to
Hinckley,
be
yeah.
killed. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, by this guy Hinckley,
Yeah.
who somehow got beyond the barricade
How
You
about
all
that?
saw the video how close he was. I
Mhm.
mean, this man was beyond the barricade.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, this man was coming. How did this guy get that close to?
Mhm.
I mean, so all this was set up, and then and then there was nowhere to be found the vice president, and here come Alexander Haig, who's the Secretary of State, who was also the chief of staff for Nixon,
Mhm.
and he said, "I'm in charge" in front of the whole world, man.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
And nobody said nothing. They thought Reagan was gonna die.
Mhm.
They thought Reagan was gonna die, man. They were ready to take over this country. It was
Mhm.
about to go down.
Mhm.
And they had it all planned out. Because like I said, where was Bush? Big Daddy Bush. I mean, where was he?
Yeah.
I mean, where's
Former
the
head of the
vice president?
CIA, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But
And
listen, here's
even
the
if
thing.
the vice
So,
president
what
ain't
you,
around, it's the
that's right.
Speaker of the
Yeah.
House.
Yeah, yeah. Well, here's the thing, Neil. One of the things you do well, and let's talk about this as a writing, opportunity for people who are out there listening. Um, you take actual information and facts, and you come up with a fictional piece, but you include so much realism into it that it makes the story really jump off the page.
Right.
But and then I know a lot of people, like, let's say, for example, Law and Order comes on. First thing they say is the characters that you're going to see is not as fictional and blah 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 kind of thing. So, what's the technique that you use? Do you do your research first?
Same.
You get
Well,
to the storyline first. What do you do?
well, it's just like that. You definitely you do your book. You say there's fiction and coincidental. But what I do is it depends. The combination of what I want to do is like what the story I want to write,
Mm-hmm.
and then you got to do some research too.
Yeah, yeah.
Like just touching on the rise and fall of the Fourth Reich. This is something I've been knew I was going to do for a while. I just hadn't started on it, but I knew where I was going to go with it, and I wanted to, and let's put it in as what it looks like with this particular group coming into this country and getting into the political system, and what would they do? What would America look like if they were able to take over? And when I was thinking about this, I mean, this was years before, Trump came along. And here it is in a situation where we are in that sort of state, man.
Yeah.
I mean, we're in that zone. It's so close that it's like the situation is. Look at it. I mean, wow, this man is threatening to become president again.
Again, and here's the thing, Manil. They said they had a plan, bipartisan plan, to do exactly what he's been calling about. Come up with a plan to stop this flow of people, these people coming in over
Right.
the borders, blah blah blah. So you get Democrats and Republicans to endorse this thing. He says no. Then put brakes on it. Don't approve it. Why? Because he's running for president again.
Right.
He wants that to be a thing. He does it in plain sight. He
Right.
says
That's
no,
right.
then influences the so-called Speaker of the House, who's nothing but a puppet for him.
Right.
And they do it, they don't even try to veil it anymore. They just do stuff in plain sight, and the people still following.
They still
Is that not
following,
the
man.
recipe
They
for
still
disaster?
following. They still following.
Wow.
I
Mhm.
mean, that's what you got that group. They are still following, and this mindset that even the people that speaking, even the Republicans and influential ones who are speaking, governors, whatever, who's speaking against Trump. But then in the bottom line, they say, well, if he's your nominee, you're gonna vote for him. They're gonna vote for
Haley is up there really going after this dude now, but at the same time, she says, "Well, I'm going to support whoever the
him. Yeah,
Republican nominee is."
right. And
Even
that's
if
I
it's
mean, it's
Trump, and
just that.
even
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, how do you write this stuff, man? How do
right.
you write it and tell me, say, "Oh,
It's
that's not
really,
going to
man.
happen." That's real
It's.
stuff. Yeah.
I mean,
Mm,
it's just,
mm. Yeah.
it
So
just
the
shows
truth,
you, man. This.
yeah. The truth of the matter is that now, and if anybody really had in mind to write a novel and deal with some of the stuff, there's so much out there to, if you're
Yeah,
a political writer or someone that has that kind of mindset like you do, man, it's just fertile ground.
it is.
I
It's
mean,
all out
all
there.
the characters,
It's all out there.
yeah, it's out there.
It's all
Wow.
out there, man. You just see it all. I mean, we seen
Mhm.
it all, and and poor Tim Scott, man, this brother gonna go up
Oh
here
man. Oh my
he did
goodness.
something, man. He said, I just love you. I mean, goddamn. I mean,
I
just
mean,
brings it
come
all
on.
out there, man.
I
I mean, it's
know.
just there, man. It's just
Yes.
there. You know what he is.
Woo.
I
I
mean,
mean, but
these are the
I go
people,
back to
man.
all the guys before him, man. Guys like these. Whatever happened to Walter Williams? Remember they used to run him out to Shelby Steele. They had him running out there. So many of those guys, man, they just came out of the woodwork, loving and they're bright guys. Don't think you're just gonna argue them under the table. They know the economics and all that kind of stuff. And everything that they say is against us, all us kinfolk aren't our kinfolk, right? But they're smart enough to ingratiate themselves to the other side because they got it down. They got the language down, the whole bit. But the bottom line is you're just a sellout and you
Right,
know that you're lying.
right.
You know that you're lying.
That's the
But guess
sellout.
what? You don't care. That's
No,
deep. How do you
yeah,
come up with
that's
that?
it.
Well, there must be a payoff somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
there they are, man. I mean, I
Yeah.
mean, it's like you can't change prophecy. And Jesus said, "This generation shall not pass to all." He broke down everybody and said, "Not pass till all things are fulfilled." Okay, so the same people that was there when he was preaching and he was walking among us, there they are. They still here.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah.
They still
Yeah.
here, man. Sellouts and everything else, man. They
I'm
all
gonna say
here.
it. I'm gonna say it again, man. That don't sleep on the Book of Clarence. That's a
Yeah. Oh,
powerful, powerful,
I can see that's a piece.
powerful
I'm waiting
movie.
for it to come
Yeah,
on. Come on, so
yeah,
I can scream it and see it. Yeah, but I
yeah.
I, I saw the video. I saw advertising trailers, so it's something I wanted to check out.
Yeah, we saw it, and I will see it again. It has a lot of symbolism, a lot of
Yeah,
stuff that makes you think, especially if you know your Bible, and then also just the arguments that people have made about Christ and all that. It is really well done, and I was wondering how a lot of people receive it, and almost to a person. I haven't had good Christian people who I know in this community anyhow have actually spoken very highly of it, and I thought, okay. And we all have the same mindset. Boy, that's a limit now. And then you kind of get in there and you see where they're going with it. It's like this is deep. And again, I'm glad that's all. Someone wrote that. I wonder who sat down and said, I don't
yeah,
know the author's name, but someone, and that's what I would say to people too. Every time you see a movie, a TV program, whatever it might be, someone has written that, or sometimes it's collaboration, more than one person. So writing is a very, very powerful tool, and using your imagination and also there's enough, like I said, fact in there, but also there's a lot of stuff that we as the African American community have questioned for a long time about, a lot of things. And then there's that piece that kind of wraps them all up. Because if it's good writing, there's a point to all this. And I thought after sitting there, man, at one point, like you said, it can be like over here, comedy, a little bit of, kind of out there a little bit, then all of a sudden it's brought home. There was a part in that movie which is really kind of out there, like I said, but it grabbed me, man. It was emotional. I thought, wow, very emotional piece, and it made you really think about who is Christ, what is Christ to us, and also who else was involved in all of that. Why do they portray Christ in a particular way when I don't want to get the movie away, but yeah, highly endorse it. That's what I'll say it that way. You know.
yeah. There's a lot. I mean, it's just like in the Bible and knowing your Bible,
Mhm,
um, because there's a lot about Christ that's not talked about
mhm,
in the churches and among the people. It's just like when it's like it's only one part of what Jesus talked about and did. Only certain parts they put out things like what Jesus came to bring, peace. But scripture say Jesus is not going to bring a sword.
mhm, mhm,
He said he came to separate. He even came to separate households and stuff. They
mhm,
don't want to talk about that now. I mean, he said
mhm.
this. This is what he said.
And some of the language too. Now we have to remember that the interpretation. So when it says hate your father and mother, he really wasn't talking about hating them in the sense that we're talking about, but he's saying separate from. And so people get caught up on that. I know a lot of folks in my raise my hand on this one when it talks about slaves obey your masters. That's a hard, and that's not Jesus speaking, but I mean that was an
Right.
admonishment. And what does that really mean? What are you talking about? But then also, why was it included, and what was the Nicene Council all about, and this and that? Yeah, we could go on and on, and I don't want to get into that, but I will tell you it is. But when you are a writer though, and you have all these different things in your thinking, and if you're not just narrow. I had a real serious conversation today. We had a wonderful meeting today and kind of got heated a little bit. We got to go on about certain things. And I remember thinking, this brother that I'm speaking to in particular, he wasn't wrong. I mean, he had a lot of good stuff. But what he would not do is also entertain the other side, in my estimation. And he may have thought the same thing about me. And I was trying to be open and broad. But no, we have to address it all. And sometimes people just want to get stuck on that one part. It's got to be just right here. It can't be anything else. Well, yeah, it can be. And that was the point of I think, of Christ's ministry all along. I mean, it is a lot. And the 12 he brought along, they were very different people, man. But they were all in that one space. But look how they all interacted and reacted and interpreted what Christ was trying to do and the way that they eventually unfolded, from the denier, to the betrayer, it goes on down the line to those asking, who's going to be the greatest sitting next to something. I mean, all those emotions, all those different characters right there, and they're in us. So why we pretend like no, that's real stuff. That's what the Bible's trying to tell you. Who are you in all this? So anyhow, that's just good stuff. But and this is some powerful writing, man. We're doing that. There's a book out now called The Color of Law. Is that it? Yeah, The Color of Law. And it breaks down the civil rights movement from a law standpoint in terms of all these laws that were enacted to keep us subservient, keep us in an apartheid state, all that kind of stuff. It's a powerful book. But there's so many. We're going through this program right now where they're introducing us to all these different books, and we have to read them and then discuss them and all that. But I'm glad I'm doing it. It's an eye opener. Some good writing out there too, man. Some good stuff. Yeah, the stuff that they bring up, it's heartbreaking actually to say, boy, this is humanity. Yeah, but at least we forget. We'll say people who forget the past or don't know the past are doomed to repeat it. People don't know the history are doomed to repeat it or something like that. The saying goes, and that's true.
Yeah, those don't remember the past
Yeah.
are condemned to repeat it. Yeah, if you don't remember it. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Those who don't remember the past are condemned to repeat it.
There you go. That's pretty much it. Yeah, that's it right there. And by the way, there's some serious documentaries on PBS, at least in this area. I sat there and watched that wasn't on PBS. What I think about it's called FBI True, and I think it's on CBS. But anyhow, the latest installment of FBI True, I think it's called. They did the bombing September the 15th, 1963, bombing of the Birmingham, Alabama church, where the 4-year-old girls died. And the one that they never talk about is the sister of Addie Mae Collins, who was blind. I mean, she's probably still alive today, but she was totally blind in that incident. And there were other people who were hurt. But they never mentioned the little girl that. I mean, there's so many people that could mention that were affected by that. In fact, they didn't ever say this, and for a good reason. But they said 1 or 2 of those little girls had. I mean, they were like decapitated. I mean,
Right.
just think about that, man. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Come on, man. And then they have these guys that they finally, and the whole point of the program was they finally got one guy, Beckworth, back in like 1980 something, 1990, whatever. Think about that. All those years later, they finally, and they closed the case 2 or 3 different times. Hoover closed it after, I think, 8 weeks or something like that, or 8 months, 8 weeks, whatever. And then they opened it again, but this new prosecutor came in 72, and then he closed it because, all those people were dying off. Everybody was just silent. Then finally in like 2000 something, these guys decided to open it again, and they had enough evidence, they felt, and they did. And they convicted 2 guys who clearly had done it. Everybody knew they did it. And in fact, one was a family member. She was either the daughter or granddaughter, I think it was granddaughter, who heard him say any number of times, yeah, we blew them up, we did this, we did it. She decided, I can't take this no more. So she came forward, and then other people came forward and said, yeah, we knew they did it. and they finally got, sentenced. But man, justice, delayed is not necessarily justice denied, but it can be, you know? Just think of all those years. What's this here? Okay, did you see Nanette? Oh, no,
Yeah.
Nanette, no, I don't see her on there. She's on there. Hey, there she
Here.
goes. Yeah,
Yeah.
somehow we are, yeah, okay, this is all right. Yeah, I see Nils has a big screen. Can we all come on like, I don't know, Chris, can you bring us on where we're kind of all on? And because we're in this little small area here, and I know you control.
Yes, sir. You just have to adjust your view from speaker to gallery, sir.
How do I do that? Let me see here. Is that me then?
I can see everybody.
You can see
Yeah, if you're on your
everybody?
phone, you should be able to swipe it, I believe, to the left.
Yeah, I
to the
see
right.
everybody too.
I see
Yeah.
everybody, but I see them in a small box. How do you guys see everybody? Is it
Yeah,
small? This
in
is,
a small box.
yeah,
It's
this
like
is
it all. It's
small box.
like it's always been.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
now see on mine, I have it some, yeah, mine is messed up, but that's all good. Now I see Nanette on big. You're on the big screen for me.
Oh,
I don't know what, yeah, this is me. Yeah,
Yeah,
brother.
it's sometimes you move on, I could be on the big screen. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think usually when you
yeah,
talking,
now I'm on the
maybe.
big screen. I don't know why I'm on the big screen. I'm trying to get everybody else on the big screen. It's all good. Okay, we'll figure it out. That's just me.
I
Because you
thought that
guys
was
see it.
because when you're speaking, you can't. You come up when you're the one
Yeah, I
talking.
thought so too, but no, I'm speaking now, and then you're speaking, and you were still in the small box on my screen. But it's all good. It's all good. How you doing, Annette?
I'm doing good. I was just outside covering up my car, my
Oh wow,
truck.
what's going on? It snow?
Snow's
Yeah,
supposed
yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
start after 8 o'clock tonight.
Where did you get your covering from, by the way?
It's just a tarp, the blue tarp,
Okay, you use that. I gotta get
the
one.
big
Someone
one,
else
a
told
big
me
one.
that. Yeah, it said get it, cover up your car, and that way you don't have to scrape it and all that stuff. Yeah, I wish I had thought about that. Okay,
And the
yeah, good
sponges, I
idea.
just put the sponges on each corner and put it underneath my wheel and put it back, tie
You
it
say
on.
sponge? You say sponges?
And that what you call them little things, some rubber or yeah.
Okay, but it holds it down, is what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah, that has the hooks on them.
Oh, okay, all right, yeah. I gotta get out there and do that because I know I'm so tired of scraping snow off of. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Anyhow, yeah. Well, we were just kind of talking. Neil was really breaking down some stuff. He has a really fascinating book. He's hoping to complete. The Rise of the Third Reich, Neil.
The rise and fall of the Fourth Reich.
Fourth Reich. I got it down to the third Reich. Fourth Reich. Okay, and that sounds real good, man. So again, congratulations, and looking forward to it in the fall. Chock full of a lot of good stuff. Now, Nanette, anything popping as far as Black history? I know you're on top of some things. What's going down?
Yeah, well, I have something that I was going to read by Harriet Tubman. I think I did it
Excellent.
before. I did it before
Okay.
last year, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm. Would you want to read it now, or you want to wait a little bit, or how you want to do that?
I'll wait a minute for a
Okay,
minute.
all right. Well, let's do this then. Since I'm looking at the time, Neil and I were just kind of kicking in really good conversation there, and I hope he, is going to stay on. If brother Chris, if you could maybe bring up a good Black history piece. This is our month. We're celebrating Black history, and let me remind people too. There's a couple programs coming up. In fact, we have a Black history program on the 24th of this month. It'll be over at the Deluxe Lounge, and it's going to be a blast. We're going to have a lot of fun. It's from 12 noon to 4 p.m. There's the flyer. Thank you, Brother Chris. And it's a Black history program we call it a Mandala, Theatrical Celebration of Black History. Again, it's at the Deluxe Lounge here at Colonial Park Mall. And we're going to have a fashion show with ABW Productions that's going to have featuring African fashions. We're going to have vendors, all kinds of wonderful vendors for you to come and get gifts and get food and all that. We're going to have poetry and singing and, the whole 9 yards. Now, Nanette, are you available on the 24th?
Yeah, I plan to come.
Excellent, excellent. Well, we always like to put you to work. You do a fantastic job, so I appreciate you. So think about something you want to do.
Okay.
She sang for us last time, and appreciate that. So anything, like I said, anything you like to do. So anyhow, and then there's some other programs coming up as well. In fact, in the AKAs, they're going to have their 27th annual, I think it is, African American Read-In. And I believe that's on the 25th, actually. Am I right, Chris? Is that a Sunday or is that a Saturday as well?
It's the 26th, it's the 25th.
It's the 26th. Well,
25th is a Sunday.
yeah, the 24th is a Saturday, and we had
Yeah.
Karen Love on last week, and I don't know if you remember whether or not we had a flyer, Brother Chris. I'm talking to Brother Chris Thomas, who is the
Yeah, I don't think she ever sent the flyers, sir. I think we made a
maybe.
flyer, but I don't think she ever sent it though.
Oh, okay. Well, I know it's on her page. If you go to Karen Love, but anyhow, I don't want to mess up the information, but I do remember it is at Stilton Elementary School. It's from 10 a.m. until I think like a 10 to 2 or something like that. I do believe it is on the 24th. It's Saturday the 24th as well. Because I remember thinking to myself, maybe I can go to part of that in the morning and then, get to our program, but that's probably not going to work. But anyhow, they always have a wonderful array of African American authors from around the area. Last year, they brought in Andrew Young's daughter, who had written a children's book and also gave a wonderful history lesson on that whole civil rights movement. And anyhow, she was great. So this year, I know they're going to have a lot of different people, Floyd Stokes, and going down the line. Folks have written a number of books. And also, they give away a lot of books to the young people. Some young people walk away with 4 or 5 books. And they get brand new books, and they make them available to the students here in the area by African American authors. So it is really a great event, and it's a free event. So whatever you do, make sure you check out the Alpha Kappa Alpha Sororities, 26th annual, I think it is, African American Read-In. And I was there last year, been there just about every year that they've had it. And I'm telling you, it's a blast. It really is well done. Okay, let's keep on moving here. And there's other things coming up too. I'm not going to try to say everything, but I do know there's other things happening, a lot of things happening. There's some good plays, by the way. We're going to see a play. We just went to see the one called the house I told you about. What is it called again? Jackson House. So if you haven't seen that, that's running through the 25th of February by Sankofa African American Theater Company. It's not a long play. It's like an hour and so, and everything, but really, really impactful. It's a musical, and the acting is excellent. And so you want to check that out. And so, and then Narcissus is doing something this coming Tuesday, I believe it is, which that would be like, I forget the date. But anyhow, so this 17th is tomorrow, 18th, 19th. So like the 20th of the month. Narcissus is located in downtown Harrisburg, and it's an African American theater company that does a lot of avant-garde stuff as well. And they have a piece that looks really appropriate and really pretty powerful. Alana Cornish has gotten, and those of us who know Alana Cornish know that, she's really, really good at what she does. And her mother was Vera Cornish. Vera was one of the she did so many things in this community, especially lifting up major African American organizations and events and all that. And then she suddenly passed. Just God called her home. Major loss to the city. But anyhow, so whatever you do, get out to these theater companies. James Lowes, our brother James Lowes, who has a fantastic program. This guy, James Lowes, by the way,
Busy.
real quickly.
He is busy. He is busy.
That brother stays busy. I don't know how he does it. We interviewed him on our show, and I know a lot about James. We've been buddies for a while. But man, this dude really is doing it. All the bicycles he gives away, all of the food things and the candies, taking young people down to the to the Universal Soul Circus for free. Just so many things he does. I have to give that guy credit. Him and his wife, I got to give her credit as well. They are powerful, contributors to this community. He has a big event coming up. Every year he does a fundraiser, and it's coming up, I believe, on the 26th, actually. And or I mean the 25th, that's Sunday. And he will be raising funds for his programs, and we hope that people will come out and support him as they always do. It's like a gospel concert, and he's honoring some people from the community. And so anyhow, it's going to be a blast. We'll tell you more about that too. Brother James Downs. His organization is called Youth 10 Times Better. And so he's been doing that thing on his own. He doesn't go out and get grants or anything like that. He raises his own money, makes connections, and gets opportunities and resources back to the community like nobody's business. So hats off to Brother James Lowes. All right, Brother Chris, if you could show us a video, man, really greatly appreciate it. And then we'll come back with Nanette and Neil Owens. Talk about their projects as well. There you go, American Sun. Thank you. Yeah, February 2nd to the 4th, 8th, 11th, 15th, 18th. Yes, indeed. Great, great, great. And then Sunday, 2:30. Oh, okay. African American Read-In. And that is the 26th annual. Okay, great. It is Saturday, February the 24th. And again, it is at Stilton High Spire Elementary School. And you can see some of the books that are highlighted there. And they make these books and everything available for free to our young people. So this is a great thing. And then a lot of local authors in particular will be on hand to sell their books. But the children's books that the AKAs provide are absolutely free. And it's always a nice event, very good event, you know, so, and we're encouraging these young people to get out there and read. Here we go. Tufts Medical Center celebrates. And this looks like Keisha Jackson, spoken word, Still I Rise by Maya Angelou. Great.
Where's that at?
Oh.
I was introduced to Dr. Maya Angelou in the 7th grade, coincidentally enough, during Black History Month. Since that time, she's been one of my sheroes. Today I share with you Still I Rise by Dr. Maya Angelou. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still like dust, I'll rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? 'Cause I walk like I've got oil wells pumping in my living room? Just like moons and like stars, and like suns with the uncertainty of tides, just like hope springing high, I rise. Did you want to see me broken, bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by soulful cries? Does my hoftiness offend you? Don't you take it awful hard, 'cause I laugh like I've got gold mines digging my own backyard. You may shoot me with your words, you may cut me with your lies. You may kill me with your hatefulness, but still like air, I rise. Does my sexiness upset you? Does it come as a surprise that I dance like I've got diamonds at the meeting of my thighs? Out of the huts of history's shame, I rise. Up from a past that's rooted in pain, I rise. I'm a black ocean, leaping and wide, swelling and belling, I bear in the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise. Into a daybreak that's wondrously clear, I rise. Bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave, I am the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise, I rise, I rise.
That is such a classic, man. I love that poem.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, that's wow.
yeah, I rise. Yeah, that's a nice.
Mhm. You nailed it. Yeah, so good stuff. I was honored to meet Maya Angelou, and I want to thank my buddy back in the day. Come on now. Oh wow, how can I forget her name? Boy, I tell you, this old age thing. It's crazy, but geez. Okay, it'll hit me in a minute. But yeah, she had the gall and the the tenacity to hunt down Maya Angelou to try to get an interview with her. And so she said, yeah, I will, you know, Janae East. But Janae didn't have a platform. So she had contacted all the local stations, and then finally she called me and said, Nate, you know, I mean, I had this opportunity to interview you. And I said, well, let's do it then. And so anyhow, it became a real mess, but it was still a real opportunity and a real blessing. And one day I'll tell that story, and I've told that story before, but you talking about a day. But Maya Angelou was a really fascinating person. And we got a chance to meet her in a hotel room and bring the cameras in and just sat with her for an hour or more and just kind of talk, you know. And then she gave a wonderful interview that aired on our Life Esteem show. And that was years ago, but yeah, you know, Maya Angelou. So anyhow, let's keep on going. You were going to, are you prepared to share right now, Nanette?
Yes,
Okay,
Yeah.
good enough.
So this piece, I had it memorized, and I used to do like a little skit, like at my church, where I dress up, like Harriet Tubman and walk down the middle aisle and just repeat these words, but it was memorized then. So can't memorize it now, but I'll read what I did. So I had to reason this out in my mind. There was one or two things I had a right to: liberty or death. If I could not have one, I would have the other. No man shall take me alive. I would fight for my freedom as long as I had strength, as long as my strength lasted. And when the time come for me to go, the good Lord would take me. Once in the North, I asked myself, how did freedom feel? I looked at my hands to see if I was the same person now that I was free. There was such a glory over everything. The sun shone like the gold through the leaves of the trees. Freedom felt so good to me. I returned to the South to free more slaves. They came out of the swamps, from the thick woods, wet, cold, and bone weary. I brought out my brother and my sister and my aging parents. If a baby whimpered, I would pour opium down his throat. A man told me he was sick and tired and hungry, and he would go no further. I cocked my pistol and said, dead niggas don't tell no tales. You either go or you die. Oh, he went. I was known as the Black Moses of my people. And then I wrote a little history on Harriet Tubman, the conductor Underground Railroad. Harriet Tubman was born in 1820 or 1821 in Dorchester, Cambridge, on the east shores of Maryland. Short, tough, black, and luminous as the night, she opposed the slave system from her birth and ran away from her bondage when she was 25 years of age. She traveled by the Underground Railroad system to the north. And that's pretty much all I wrote about her then. But yeah, I would do that. But she's such an interesting person. I even got little pictures downstairs in my basement of her. I've had them for years.
That's
And then
that's good.
I used to think that the Underground Railroad was underground and it was a railroad. But as I read further, it said it was neither underground and it wasn't a railroad. It was organizations where slaves could go, white, Jews, blacks, a safe place for them to go and so they can move them towards the north.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
A lot of times it's someone's house. It could have been a church, it could have been anything. Yeah. And we have a lot of that rich history right here in central Pennsylvania and Lancaster.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's great. And I'm sure, Neil, you could relate to that as well. That in your area, I'm sure. Yeah. Do they have reenactments of the Underground Railroad or conferences or anything like that in your area?
I've heard of it. I haven't been to any, but I've heard that they've done something. It was years ago, though. Yeah, they did something.
There's a church out of Lancaster who does it pretty regularly. I'm not sure how often, but they're noted for it. And the pastor, you know what I'm talking about, Nanette? Tall guy, real tall dude. I know him, but anyhow, but his church, they will put them on and like I said, they're noted for it. They do a great job. The members have really embraced it. And so they really do the research and everything. By the way, I want to lift up two things. One, Lynn Blackston, listening to Nanette Reed. Lynn is a very fine artist who does one-woman plays. And so she does Harriet Jacobs. And until Lynn did Harriet Jacobs, I never heard of Harriet Jacobson, but she was a runaway slave who had to hide in a loft for 3 years, I think she said. She was up in a little space and so afraid to be caught. She was up there for over 3 years. I can't even put my mind around that. But
Right.
when you want to survive and want to live, that's what you do. And that's what she did. She hid out, and these people fed her. And, just think about what that would take to do something like that. But she eventually got her freedom. But anyhow, she also does Harriet, Tubman, and also Rosa Parks and a couple others. So if you have never seen Lynn, have you ever seen Lynn do it?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Yeah,
I've
she
seen
does a
her
great
down at the
job.
forum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good. So, but anyhow, when you do your one woman piece, let me see, brother. Oh, there you go. That's her doing the reenactment at the State Museum for the Writers' Workshop. In fact, when we did a program, and she was doing Rosa Parks in that
Mhm.
particular scene. Yeah. So thank you, Chris. Thank you. That's Lynn. And Lynn has a master's degree from Lincoln University, and she was working on her doctorate and all that stuff. She's a therapist, so she does really good stuff. But I will tell you, Nanette, I really wish that you would elongate yours. You were really, really good on that stage. And then you incorporate your singing and this and that. So, just think about it. Just think about maybe adding a little bit more. Someone like Neil could really help you. Neil's a good historian. Now, I listened to Neil, and Neil, you're the first person I ever heard say that King James was black. And then I'm
Yeah.
on Facebook and I'm reading something else, and that's what they were talking about. I'm like, what? Neil broke this down a long time ago.
What's his name?
King
King
James version
James.
of the Bible. Yeah.
Oh, King James.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So you do your work, man. I mean, I
Yeah.
mean, literally, I never heard that before. And then all of a sudden I'm hearing all this, different historians talk about it and all that. And it's like, this is deep. But anyhow, um, yeah, so I'm just saying people like Neil's right there. You see Neil every week, and he has history and all that. And so maybe you guys could collaborate even by Zoom and just talk about some things that you can incorporate into you. But you do your own homework as well, Nanette. And you wrote that piece, right? That
Yes.
one, yeah.
That's a good
So
piece too.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
telling you,
That was
I
a
mean,
good
there's so
piece.
much you could say about her,
there is,
just,
there is.
just took pieces out and,
Mhm.
did that
Yeah.
little part.
One thing that we may want to consider one day is doing a reading. Like I just participated in one. I actually did one once before for a play that I wrote. We did it at the State Museum. We just simply read it. And I had no idea that the people were into it as much as they were. And I just did it as a part of, I just wanted them to kind of, and the folks got mad at me because I stopped it. But we
Mm.
had other things that we were going to do. And so the government president said, well, wait a minute, you got us into the play, and then you just, I was like, well, we were just doing the excerpt. They were upset. So reading the play, and so we just did a reader's play on Wednesday on Frederick Douglass. And it was written by Linwood Sloan. And Linwood Sloan is probably the best historian on Black history that I've ever encountered face to face. This guy's really good. He knows his stuff. And when he was preparing us to do this play, I mean, he made that thing so fascinating. I could not read it without visualizing all that Linwood had told us, because he
Mm.
just lays that thing out so well. Minute little details of like, who does that research? This guy does. And then he created a group called the History Police or History Cop, whatever. And they're black, white, Hispanic, whatever. But they come in, they're ready, they know their stuff. And so a lot of people are using them now, because when they want to do projects, they'll turn to them and say, Linwood, and he breaks it down. So anyhow, yeah. So I would just encourage you, and I'm trying to encourage myself too, to do more of that, do more research into my writing, and not just simply just write, something. Yeah. So, okay, go to Brother Neil. Did you want to read something tonight? I forgot to ask you at the very top there. We were talking, and I never asked
Oh,
you about.
ladies always go first.
Yeah. She just read a piece. I didn't know if you wanted to follow the net or not.
Yeah, I'd rather follow. Definitely.
Okay, all right then.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, well, like
Yeah.
I said, Annette just read a piece, but you know it. Then let's revisit that piece that you did around your father. You lifted up, I think, the first part of 2023, or was that 22 when you first read that?
I'm not sure. Let me see. I don't know if I have the piece here.
Okay, that was
Um,
well done, though. And that's another one I encourage you to keep working on, because it's such a powerful, yeah, powerful piece there.
Wow.
But if you can find it, if not, just just let me know. But for those persons again, let me mention this too, brother. Last Saturday, I participated in the Black Think Tank installment. They've done like 5 Black think tanks around there, and they asked me if I would be their keynote speaker for the luncheon. I said, yeah, I'll do it. And so we dealt with the policing, mental health in the Black community as relates to police response, so did a lot of research on that, and did my thing. But they had some outstanding speakers that give Angela Bates did an excellent job. They brought in attorneys Stan Mitchell and I would say the Nora Sloan. That doesn't sound right. Sloan's her last name, and it's I think it is Lenora Sloan. They're outstanding attorneys. She's from Harrisburg, and then Stan, I think, said she grew up in like Missouri or somewhere like that, and then made his way to Harrisburg. I've worked with Stan on some things before, some of the law. But anyhow, they also had a sister there who had been trafficked. She literally was kidnapped at the age of 13, and she said, and she tells the story. She said, my mother and father are both attorneys. She dresses as she's a Muslim now. So she said, they're both attorneys. She said, and we moved into, suburban neighborhood and everything. She said, and so there's a little girl next door to us. She said, I'm gonna say it again, next door. Seemed like our neighbor. And she said, the little girl invited me to her party. And I asked my mom and dad, I can go. They said, well, we don't really know these people, this and that, and blah, blah. But she said, I kept begging them to, it's just a party, it's just next door. And they said, well, okay, it's a birthday party. So they decided to let her go. And it's supposed to be just for kids. And she said she gets over there, but she noticed there's some men there. And so she said to the neighbor, well, who does it mean? She said, well, that's, my dad's brothers, and, they're here, and they're just uncles, and they come in, and I know, okay. She said they get to drinking and eating, at a party. It's a birthday party. She said, and next thing she knows, she wakes up. She says, and we're in a hotel room. She said, I had no idea, just they drugged us, She said, and she says to the friend, well, wait a minute, what's going on? And she said the girl didn't respond at first. And then she finally said, well, they're going to put us to work. And she said, what do you mean put it to work? So here what they do a lot of times, I'm just giving you a little bit about what she said, is they use young kids to recruit young kids, or women to recruit women. Who knew? This little girl knew exactly, apparently based on the way she said it, she knew exactly what was going on, but they used that little girl to bring other people in. She said she ended up having a baby at the age of 14. She was 13 when they kidnapped her, and they kept her, and then her parents were looking for her, and they found there was a police officer, I think. She didn't give us the full background. She said, but there was a police officer who recognized the signs and realized something was wrong. And he was the one that broke that case and got her out of that a very serious situation. She said, I stand here today, because somebody took the time to look and to realize something's not right, and they spoke up. And so anyhow, she gave a powerful testimony. That was just absolutely riveting. And she has her own organization now, and I'm going to bring her on to the Writers' Workshop here to speak and to talk about this issue. We had a sister out of Lancaster who's a very outstanding poet who did a play on being trafficking. And I never forget, we were at the State Museum, and I said to her, I will sponsor, the Writers' Workshop, I will sponsor your play. So we had her down, and she laid that thing out. There was a woman, she had Krista Turner Childs. We all know that Krista Turner Childs is now retired from the state troopers, but she was the second highest ranking person in state troopers, and she's from Harrisburg here. And so she also had gone through the police FBI Academy and all this kind of stuff. Crystal's the truth. So she came in as one of the speakers, and then she had 2 other people speak. But this one lady decided to come up from Atlanta, Georgia. And she said, you don't have to pay me nothing. She said, I just want to come. Anytime I know that there's somebody who's lifting up this, because I was trafficked and I wrote a book about it. She said, and so she paid for her own airfare, came up, got her own hotel, and she came and was part of that panel. And her story was horrific too, unbelievable stuff. So I say all that to say that, Micaiah Brown, who helped to create this Black think tank, he got sick. He paid for everything, I was told, and set the whole thing up. It was an outstanding program, and it started off real slow because we were supposed to start at 10. We didn't start till like 12:30, and nobody left. And then all these people came in, And then they had a catered food. It was out of sight.
That
And
food was
then all the
delicious.
speakers, you were there. I
Yes, I
forgot
was there.
about that. You was there. That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, this is stuff. Weren't the speakers really, really good?
they were. I was
They were
impressed. Yes.
excellent. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and I was actually planning to do my thing, kind of hang around a little bit, then, head back home here because we had some other things to do. I couldn't leave. I said, man, oh, wow. And then there's a young man, the brother that got up and had Keontae get up with him, and the other brother, they had all,
Emmanuel Thompson. He
there
had
you
spent
go.
time in penitentiary.
Yeah, well, all three of them had. Yeah.
Yeah.
Keontae did about 18 years, and this brother, yeah. So anyhow, I was just really thrilled that they pulled this off, and it was worth staying for. That was an excellent program. So hats off to Brother Maccasia Brown. He puts on a lot of programs where he brings in vendors and speakers and all that. Been doing it for a long time, and and then Aisha Mobley, she was excellent, and then the brother who was the MC. Brother Eric Jackson, who's a
Oh,
master
yeah.
actor, teacher. Yeah, he's always good. Eric's on it. So anyhow, hats off to all those people. That's gonna mention that. And I was glad that that they asked me to be a part. So good stuff. Brother, did you ever find your piece in that?
Who?
Did you ever find your piece that you were looking for?
Oh, about my father?
Yeah, you don't have to. I just wondered if you
Yeah,
had
I
anything
did
else.
find it. It was called What do I call him?
Yes. Or if
Yeah,
you
I
have
did.
anything else you'd like to share, it's up to you.
Well, you want Neil to go? I mean,
No, you go ahead and go on that.
Okay.
all right. I was just going through some of these flyers. You're talking about the woman that was in the child trafficking. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I had gotten one of her flyers, but I don't know why I don't see her name on here or
I
nothing.
have it. I have her card.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
let me.
All right.
Yeah. If you go on and read it, I'll look for that and find that, and then I'll
Okay.
lift her up. Okay.
All right. It's called What Do I Call Him? It was his seed in my mother's womb that birthed us, you see. There were two of us, twins, and three brothers and two more sisters. But what do I call him? You see, he left when I was born, so I never had a father in my home. What do I call him? Webster's dictionary says a father is a male, a parent, a creator. My dad, my what? My what? He wasn't here for us. What do I call him? Dad, when I tried to say it, got stuck in my tongue. Father? No, I just couldn't say it. I asked my twin sister, I said, well, what do you call him? She said, I don't know. She said, I don't remember calling him anything. I knew him. I heard about him, but what do I call him? I remember when we were back in when he came back to Harrisburg to visit once a year. I don't know if it was the same time each year, but I do remember having to sit on the front porch eating watermelon that he had brought. And he would give us his usual $1 bill that he would give to us. What do I call him? When my sisters got older, they told my mom, you can file for child support for Nan and Jen. So she did, and she got it. I'm not sure how old we were when we started getting or how much it was. But I know when it stopped, as soon as we turned 18, because he told us, you're old enough to take care of yourselves. What do I call him? I remember he was tall, dark, and always wore a white starched shirt. It must have been in the summer months because he always had his jacket thrown over his arms. As we grew older and had our own kids, he moved from Chicago to Harrisburg. I'm not sure why. I guess maybe he had wanted to have a relationship with us. So what do I call him? He stayed with my brother for a minute, and they had a falling out. And then he got his own home. He even joined my church. He was a deacon at New Hope Living Baptist Church. Well, maybe I'll call him Deacon or Deacon Simpson. What do I call him? He stayed a few years until he found out he had lung cancer, and I knew he had worked in the steel mills and smoked cigars. He didn't want an operation, and he decided to go back to his wife and son that was in Chicago. And that is where he passed away still. What do I call him? Like I said, it got stuck in my throat. But the biggest male influence in my life and father figure was Dr. Scott A. White and Mother White. They adopted me into their family of 16 children. And I guess I must have been around the age of 12 or 13. And that helped shape my life into who I am today. You know, God always has a ram in the bush. So what do I call him? He was my earthly biological father, but my heavenly father, I got my answer. Abba Father, Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. I am that I am. Jehovah Nissi, my banner. Jehovah, Lord, Adonai, Lord and Master, El Shaddai, my all-sufficient one. Jehovah Jireh, the Lord who will provide. Jehovah Rapha, he who heals. Jehovah Elohim, my judge and creator. Jehovah Shammah, the Lord is there. Jehovah Sebastian, the Lord of hosts. Jehovah Tiskanu, the Lord my righteousness. Jehovah Meshkashadek, Lord who sanctifies you. Eliam, the everlasting, my shepherd, my protector, my joy, my peace, my happiness, my comforter, my deliverer, my salvation, the lifter of my head, my food, my water, my refuge, my strength, my anchor, and my friend, my life, my shelter, my father, my Jesus. That's what I call him. So I read this in the Capital City Church, and the pastor said, "Well, I didn't know he had so many names," but he does.
Yes, very
He
well.
has more than that.
Mhm. Excellent.
I don't know if I pronounced them all the right way, but
Listen, don't even get me started. That was excellent, though. Thank you. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. Wow. Brother
yeah,
Neil, I know you get ready to say something. I'm sorry.
I was just touching on what you were saying. That was really, yeah, that was pretty deep.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good
that was
stuff.
pretty deep in that. Yeah.
Mhm.
thank you. Well, by the grace of God, I am who I am. I had a
Amen.
praying mother.
Yeah. Mhm. Well, Brother Neil, did you want to grace us with something as well?
Okay. Yeah, I'll read something from The Rise and Fall of the Fourth Reich.
Mhm.
I don't need to give a background on what it is because the conversation in this piece, the dialogue will pretty much tell you what's happening. An overweight man in blue overalls opened the door, and the militia team leader said, "I'm looking for Ralph Davis." The man tightened his expression. "I'm Ralph Davison." "Mr. Davison, our records show that you left the militia. Why?" "I resigned when the president removed Social Security, Medicare, and funding for the disabled. I felt betrayed." "Betrayed? You still feel betrayed?" "I do. As a member of the militia, your household was exempt from the removal of Social Security and Medicare, and I don't see a record of anyone in your household that's disabled. So why did you leave?" "Because I have friends that are not members of the militia, and their Social Security and Medicare was taken away. Some of them are disabled veterans. All of them are America First Republicans, and the party abandoned them. That's not right." "Uh-huh. So you decided to join the other side." "I'm not on any side." If you're not on our side, you're on the other side. I'm definitely not on the side that takes away funding for the disabled, Social Security and Medicare for those who need it. The team leader lifted his 9mm and shot him. He went inside the home, shot Ralph's wife and dog, and set the house on fire. I'll stop there. I can't hear.
I'm sorry, I was muted. Yeah, I'm
I was
sorry.
trying to unmute mine too. I
Yeah.
was in the wrong place.
Talking too. Wow. That's good stuff. Yeah, man. And why'd you stop at that part? You
Yeah.
shot him,
Well,
but the dog
I'll
got
finish
you?
it. I'll finish it. Let me finish
Okay.
it. The next home on the list was a mile away. On the front porch, a middle-aged couple was slowly swinging in a wooden love seat when they saw 3 pickup trucks flying upside-down American flags rolling onto their property. The man said, "They're probably coming to coast us back." "We ain't going back," the woman huffed. "They are wasting their time coming here." The man said, "They sure are." The team leader jumped out of the lead vehicle and approached the couple with his group behind them. "Mr. and Mrs. Randolph?" "That's us," the man said, slowly rocking the love seat. The team leader stood with one foot at the bottom of the step and opened his handbook. "I see here, Mr. and Mrs. Randolph, that you were members of the militia. Why did you leave?" Mr. Randolph said, "We left because it wasn't what we signed up for." "What did you sign up for?" "We thought the country was under attack by communists, but that's a lie." "Why did you say that?" "We are under attack by the communists and socialists funded by the Jews." His wife interjected, "That's not true." "Not true. Mhm. Are you Democrats or Republicans?" "We're Democrats, but we're not beholden to a party. We voted for President Ronald and believed he was assassinated by the communists to take over the country. That's why we joined the militia. But now we know the truth." "What is the truth?" Her husband interjected. "The truth is the assassination was an inside job. We haven't seen any proof that the Jews were involved. They lied to get us to help the coup. Don't believe what they're telling you. Look at our country. We are in another civil war over the same thing. Opposition to the laws of the federal government. Back then it was slavery, now it's democracy. I wouldn't have fought for slavery, and I'm not fighting against democracy." "Uh-huh. Then you and your wife are enemies of the people." "What people?" "Your people? Those who are traitors to the Constitution?" The leader stepped closer and struck him with the butt of his rifle, and a man and woman in the group dragged the man onto the front lawn. Another woman grabbed the arm of his wife and threw her down next to him. The team leader stood behind him and said, "Stand up and don't face it." They stood with their eyes in search of heaven. The team leader said, "Can democracy save you now?" They didn't answer. "On your knees." They dropped to their knees with facial expressions of imminent death. The team leader pointed his rifle and shot the wife in the back of the head, followed by a shot into the back of the husband's head. A sign was placed on each body that read, "Traitor," and the house was set on fire.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, stop there.
Right, movies, man. I could see that being a movie or something. I'm serious. Wow.
They made me think of Putin. They were just talking about the news where the man that was talking out against him just fell over dead after a walk or something. They know Putin was behind it, Russia.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's a lot of terrorizing and stuff going on.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, that's a powerful piece there, man. That's deep. So yeah, you got to get that written
Real.
out to the stores,
Yeah.
brother.
Yeah, it'll be available in September.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, man, you're a traitor to the cause, huh?
You're telling somebody's story.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Somebody.
That stuff is really happening. Yeah.
Hmm.
They used to say blood in, blood out. I think that was the Hispanic piece. And the
Yeah,
prison
it's
you joined that game. You wasn't supposed to come out of there. Yeah.
right, right.
So,
Yeah, what they find, this is a there's a coup done in America. It's a coup, and it turns into a civil war. And there's a group called the militia. And the militia are basically deputized civilians that the president who leads this coup has as his army. So he's they rise up.
Yeah.
Was that
Yeah.
President Trump?
No, it's not Trump, but it's a character. This is set in 1981.
Oh.
So this is before Trump came along.
Mm. Okay.
And so it's someone like a Trump. Yeah. Someone
Sure.
definitely like a Trump.
Yeah. You know, Trump's son-in-law was a Kirshner.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was on TV. They exposed the fact that he was given $2 billion.
Yeah.
$2
From Saudi.
billion.
Yeah. From Saudi.
Yeah, from Saudi. And from the faction that's accused of killing what's the guy's name? The
Yeah, that
journalist.
the reporter for the Washington Post. Can't think of his name. Yeah.
I forget the name too, but they mutilated this guy, chopped his body up.
Yeah.
And Kirsten's up there defending them, talking about how great these people are. Like I said, it's like these guys have no shame. They actually think they can say and do anything. And he even
They've
said,
been allowed to do it and get away with it, man, and do it. I mean, you know, this is what happened under Trump. You know, these people in there that's making money, man, and all that kind of stuff. And I mean,
saying
it
everything
just
they want to say and talking down to their constituents like they're just sheep, like they have no brains. All they're doing is follow us. He even made a comment, he's trying to, roll back on it. I can stay in the middle of Times Square, shoot somebody and get away with it. He made a comment, but
he won't lose the vote. Right. He right. Those people are I mean, he's a cult leader, man. He's a
cult leader.
He's a cult leader.
That's right.
I mean, he's a
cult
leader.
He's a cult leader. All these judgments that are going against him in terms of the finances, all that kind of stuff. They said that's really emboldening his people. You would think that they would be like, oh, I don't know. He said, man, that guy's gaining more momentum. These people are crazy. They literally run around supporting this guy. But if you wrote that up as a story, who would believe it? I mean, come on.
Yeah, but there it is. It's out there.
It's out there. Yeah.
But it goes back, and then we talk about Black history. It goes back to, you see, like when Dr. Martin Luther King was able to get civil rights pushed through, and Blacks got the right to vote. They joined the Democratic Party. That's who signed the thing with the president was Democrat. They joined the Democratic Party. Democrats were racist. I mean, that was George Wallace and all them guys down south. That's who they were. They were the racists. They were Democrats. And Blacks joined the Democratic Party, and a bunch of at that point, those Democrats, they went to the Republican side, and some of them just went back into their mountains and into their farms and just disappeared. Just waiting for an opportunity, waiting for that day for something to come to bring them out. They call that the silent majority. And all of a sudden, man, here comes that man. That racist man come along with they want. They want that racist guy there. They've been waiting for him, especially because they went crazy when Obama became president, man. I mean, they just went crazy. They just could not believe. They thought their country was gone. They thought America was gone forever. They were especially when he won the second time too. That was I mean, can you imagine these guys who politicians sitting around we're gonna make sure this man's a one-term president.
Mhm.
I mean, on the day he's on, they were plotting to make him a one-term president. That we can't have this black man, no president. This gotta they wanted to go down as just a mistake, just something to just
Mhm.
a fluke. Yeah, he
Yeah.
got there. They always say that was just a fluke.
Mhm.
But no, it was proven
Got
that
him
it
back
wasn't a
in there
fluke.
though. Yeah.
Yeah, it
Got
wasn't a
him
fluke.
back in there, man. Amazing stuff, Oh, by the way, this is way off the subject, but don't sleep on the Bob Marley movie that's just coming out. Came out on Wednesday,
Oh
and I
yeah.
got a chance to see a documentary. I think it's called One Love or something like that.
Yeah, it's one love. Yeah.
One Love, yeah. But I got a chance to see the documentary on his life, man. Powerful stuff. Yeah, Bob Marley. I didn't know he was as big as he was. He was big, in terms of the politics and all that. And they tried to assassinate him because of how popular he was and all that. And he survived it, but eventually, we know he died. He died at the age of 35. That's
Yeah, he
amazing.
Wow.
died young. He died
Yeah,
young. He had
yeah.
cancer. I think he had cancer.
In his toe. And all they had to do was they wanted to amputate the toe, and they don't believe in that. Rastafarians don't believe in taking parts of the body off. And so
Mm.
he was like, no, but he did let him work on it. But unfortunately, the cancer spread all throughout his body to his brain.
Mm.
And they said, had he just had that removed, he would still be with us today. But he wasn't. Hey, you ain't taking on my toe. He was
Wow.
an avid soccer fan too. So he was into soccer constantly, and they were playing constantly. And then he was at some concert, and they said he could tell he was very lethargic and started slurring his words and talking, and that's when they realized something was up. He
Mm.
didn't last long after that. Yeah, sad, sad, sad.
Wow.
But the story looks absolutely fantastic. Yeah, so
So what theater is it at?
I hope it's at the Rico. That's where I like to
Oh,
go.
okay.
I haven't looked for it yet, but I know it came out on the 14th. Now,
Okay.
and I hope that's nationwide. They kept saying nationwide. But sometimes they'll bring it out, but it'll be in select cities. You know how
Yeah.
that goes. Yeah. But this
So
was
I wanted to ask you a question. Did you watch the testimony of Bonnie Willis?
yes, I watched parts of it. I'm working, so I can just it off. But yeah, I
Did
was
you
really
did
impressed
you
with
hear her
it.
dad?
Say it again.
Did you hear her
Yeah.
father?
No, I didn't. I missed that. I heard about it. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
he was on today too. Yeah.
oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, I
I
heard a
liked
little bit of the
her.
father.
Did you? Okay. What
Yeah,
you think?
he's on time, man. He's tough too.
Okay.
He went to
Okay.
Harvard or something, didn't he?
Yeah, he was
Oh,
tough, man. He broke it down.
okay.
About black people, man. Yeah, they talking about these cats. They trying to find out what y'all walk around with cash. He's trying to talk about black people, man. He taught his kids at a young age keep some cash.
Mm-hmm.
That's
I
right. He said
still tell my kids that.
that's right.
Yeah.
With
I
black
still
people, that's
tell
what
my
we say.
grandkids that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
keep cash. What we do as black, we just gotta keep some cash on you, man.
Yeah, don't go
Mm-hmm.
nowhere and don't have no cash.
How
You
about that? How about
have at
that?
least some bus fare or cab fare or something.
Mm-hmm. The mere fact that you listen, that they're trying to bring this up in the midst of what this dude tried to do to this country. He tried to kill his vice president. He tried to
Right.
kill a lot of the senators. If that
Oh
had
yeah, he
been
tried to kill them
Obama,
all.
he tried to kill
Yeah,
them all.
yeah, he
Anybody
tried to
that's
kill them
against
all,
him.
man. He tried to kill them
Had that
all.
been Obama, they'd have Obama tried and convicted by now.
Oh, yeah, it'll be
Treason.
done. I mean, this guy's still
Treason.
walking around. Yeah, of course, man. It's treason.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
That's exactly what it is,
That,
man. It is
yeah.
treason.
And had we been mostly black folks who stormed the Bastille the way it is,
Oh man.
how are you going to do that? And then now they're sending a lot of those cats to prison. Notice they're getting these sentences, and he's not going. And you're the
Right.
chief architect of this crap, man. I don't get it. I just don't get it. There's no way that a former president could act like that and still be walking around free as a bird, going to
Well,
all
you
these
know what he's pushing, man.
trials.
He's saying he said immunity. If a president can't do his job, he don't have immunity. He has to be immunity.
Yeah, immunity. In other words, I want to be king.
That's
But here's
right.
the thing, though. He was here in
That's right.
Harrisburg last Friday, and he said it. I mean, he was at the farm show, is a big facility. He said, "Look at this place. This place is packed." He was absolutely right. I forgot that dude was going to be here. I came down Cameron Street. You know how you get off the highway, you come down. The cars are lined up all the way back. People are walking in droves, going to see Trump. And by the way, it was part of the gun show. Think about that. The gun show.
Yeah.
And these cats are coming to the gun show like crazy. And he was absolutely right. I mean, we can don't like him, we can say this about him. That guy got a following like you would not believe. And the thing about the following is they're so into him. I mean, they are absolutely rabid. And I'm hoping that the people who are going to support Biden, now, this one brother, what's his name? Killer Mike, the rapper, comes out talking about why he can't induce Trump and endorse Biden. And I'm looking at Killer Mike as a relatively intelligent guy. But him and his like, killed Hillary trying to get in there. So we ended up with Trump. They tell me all the crimes and the stuff about Hillary. I'm like, but the alternative is Trump.
Right.
Crazy. I mean,
Right.
come on. The
Right.
same thing with Biden. You talk about how old he is and all that kind of stuff. And right now, the only two viable candidates are him and what are you talking about? These young people crack me up, man. They get so full of themselves and so wordy and all. I'm like, you people, man, wake the heck up. What's wrong with you? And they got these guys right where they want them, confused. I
Yeah.
don't care how
Yeah.
they are. I don't care how much schooling you got. If you're that dumb to think that somehow you're going to put Trump in there as opposed to Biden or Hillary, you got to be kidding me.
Right. Yeah. It's crazy,
Oh,
man.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just stop arguing. It's like, you know what? I'll lose my soul arguing with these people. I mean, come on, man. It's just crazy. But anyhow, having said all that, that's why we write. We write because we see, and because we see it, and we write. And if we don't let our opinions heard, or we don't craft a story, someone else will. So we have to be the storytellers that, what is it Gandhi said, be the change you wish to see. So we have to be the storytellers we wish to read. And right now, if we're not telling our stories, powerful piece on Ava DuVernay, who's doing a lot of black movies and plays and stuff. And hear her interview is absolutely fascinating. So if you get a chance to hear Ava DuVernay, she will inspire you to want to write black stories and to tell the story from our side. Check
Is she
her
a
out. But
singer
there's a lot
too?
of
Is she
no,
a
no,
singer?
Ava, no, she's not. She's a
Oh,
filmmaker.
okay. I'm thinking about the other lady.
Yeah. What is her name? I think I know you're talking about. They kind of
Yeah.
look alike when I think about it. Yeah, the one who did Billie Holiday, is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah, and she did the Selma or something, I think.
Yes, yeah, that's
They
her.
worked in
Yeah, the
it.
song, yeah, that's her. Yeah. But yeah, Ava DuVernay is really, really good in terms of her search. I love that piece she had on TV. What was that called? Down South, and they were losing the farm and all that kind of stuff, and the whole lot of family drama around the farm. The father died, and this group was the whites were trying to take the farm and all that. Powerful stuff. It's good storytelling. But they never finished it though. And that was always a controversy. Like, why did they stop? Why didn't they finish the story? Because a lot of times they say this is the final season, and then they'll just wrap it all up. They didn't give it a final season. They just ended. And then they said, oh no, we're gonna bring it back. Man, that's about 4 years ago. It's like, what's going on here? Yeah. But anyhow, what can I tell you? But what time is it? Oh, we still have a good time. Brother Chris, can you bring us one more video? I know you always prepare these videos for us for tonight, and then we'll wrap it up. And hopefully we'll see some people talk about some things that are coming up for next couple of weeks here. Okay. Okay. I am Black History Month. Now for Mondays.
I am Black History Month, meaning I am unapologetically black. I am blackly black, and proud to be. I have never been afraid of the dark or in the mystery of what lies beneath my skin. Though my melanin seems to be that of a melody, a felony in this brave country, in the land of the so-called free, but you ain't for real free if you look like me. Leaving my ancestors, myself, and those that will come through me to be left with a burdened generation of pain, since no one sees how being black can feel like pain. And I am history that no one seems to tell the truth about, yet it continues to repeat itself. So I'll take you to the beginning. In the beginning, God created male and female in his image, meaning that in his image I see me. In my image I see a God that happens to be blacker than me. and I am month, meaning I am a 365-day month of blackness because 30 days wasn't long enough for me to be fully myself. And 30 days is too long to hold a black male in a cell for a crime he never committed. And I hate to admit it, that just the other day I cried in my husband's arms because studies say that a pregnant black woman is 200% more likely to die giving birth than that of a white woman, simply because she is black and I am black and she is me. So please, stop giving me a hard time for wanting to see the blackest movie in theater. And stop giving me a hard time for wanting to celebrate black girl magic or black boy joy. Because it's hard being black in America or anywhere else in the world for that matter. And remember, this as I close, let me give you a Black History Month lesson of black people, of black inventions. So get this: the traffic light, black; the gas mask, black; caller ID, black; the super soaker, black; blood bank, black; mailbox, black; home security system, black; toilet, black; refrigerated trucks, black; ironing board, black; black, black, and more black. So therefore, as you are using your everyday appliances and items, remember that black people are more than slaves and criminals that society makes us out to be. And with that, happy Black History Month.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man, oh man, oh man, that was really pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Imagery, the poetry, all that, she looked so young at first.
That's
And
what
then
I
I
was
guess,
thinking.
yeah,
But then she
like,
said she
what?
was married.
Yeah, yeah. And I didn't know if that was real or I guess she wasn't didn't
Okay,
show her
yeah.
being pregnant. And I thought,
Yeah.
okay. And some people do, they can look really young and still be, over 21, 25, whatever.
I know.
Mhm.
No, I'm just kidding.
No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Did you always look young and when you were younger did you always seem young
No.
when you were? You do. And you do now, but that's good stuff. But yeah, that was good, Chris. Thank you. Thank you for finding that. All of them, all the videos tonight were pretty good. So thank you. Yeah, so well listen, I know that we have about 6 minutes left and that's anything that we want to talk about or wrap up with. I do want to invite folks to continue to support this program. We come on every Friday night from 7 until 9, and we will have some speakers on. Hopefully next week. I'm looking to reach out to the two people I mentioned that we saw at the Black Think Tank, and I especially want to explore this whole notion of people being kidnapped, which is a very serious concern in our community around the world. Really, it's a worldwide phenomenon. This trafficking thing, and it just so happens that here in central Pennsylvania it's very real, and it gotten to be a serious issue. In fact, they just came out with something. I didn't read the whole thing, but saying that we're one of the top areas in the country in terms of this craziness that's going on.
Dauphin County.
Yeah, Dauphin County, yeah, and down in Carlisle, which is that's more. What is Carlisle? That would be. That's York County. I'm not sure.
I'm not
I'm
sure.
not sure if Carlisle's. Yeah, but that truck stop was really targeted, and all that. Also, I need to say this tragedy in our area with our district judge. Really good sister. You just never know what a situation's about, and to see her handcuffed and taken away with attempted murder and all that it's like, come on now. It just seems so out of character from what I know of her, a little bit. So my prayer goes out to her and to the victim, to the person that got shot, lost his eye. Okay, you just never know. Listen, folks, we got to be real clear about violence in our communities, in all communities, not just, we always make it sound like Black people the only one to get out of here with that. The people in general, You know, we have domestic violence, we have, you know, all kinds of stuff going on. Folks, walk away, get help, you know, sever the ties, do whatever. Don't change your entire life based on some incident or some person or whatever it might be, that you got to pick up a gun and do something like that. You know, we're too gifted, we're too bright, we're too, you know, God is giving us this opportunity. Why in the world will we throw it away over some emotional, you know, baggage or some anger or whatever it is that's going on with people that they do what they do? And, you know, I know the grace of God go on, but let me just say, you know, again, come on now, we got to get this thing together. Go ahead, Nanette.
No, I was just saying, I was talking to my niece that knows her well. She said she just wished she would have reached out for help, or just reached out some, you know, because yeah, it's just sad, you know, tragic.
And if the guy was laying in bed asleep, get up and go, leave, you know, or something. You never know. Maybe there was a major fight, maybe there's drugs involved. All I know is, you know, you just don't know. And then, but you do know that a life was changed, and not just one life, a lot of lives were changed. And you know, so Lazille, you decided to come on at the last minute, but it's all good.
Nah, I just came in. I don't know if you're
Well, it's
new.
good to see
I
you.
have a death in my family, so
Oh
Oh,
no,
sorry to
really?
hear that.
Oh, sorry to hear that. I see you have black on. You just come from a funeral?
no, it's back home in my country.
Oh, back home. Oh my
Oh,
Oh,
goodness.
in your
Yeah.
country. Oh,
Yeah, so sorry to hear that. Well, listen, if you just come on for 60 seconds is worth it. I'm glad to see you.
Yeah.
Really, yeah. God bless you, you know. Anything going on in your neck of the woods? We're on a few minutes, but what's happening with you? Anything, programs or anything going on?
Well, I didn't do the program last week because I wasn't sort of, wasn't as it's my uncle, he died, you know.
Oh,
So I didn't do the program, the powder room Saturday.
yeah,
So I
yeah.
tomorrow is the powder room, so I'll kind of decide what I'll talk about.
Okay. So was this your mother's side, your father's side,
Father.
your father? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's the same. Sorry to hear that. Yeah. So, what kind of who would tell us a little bit about him?
He is, matter of fact, how much time do we have just now?
A couple minutes. Yeah, a couple minutes. Let me see. We have 5 minutes.
I just did this
Trying to find a poem.
no, I did the poem, so it's called "In the Arms of an Angel." It's a song by Laura McLaughlin,
Yes.
and it was just in my spirit all the time. And then Friday, it was just playing in my head, and then I got the news, so
Yeah.
I ended up doing a poem about him. So I could just read it quick.
Thank you.
In the arms of an angel. That's where our comfort lie, in God's arms, spiritual beings that caress and cares for us. But Uncle Chris was special. He was handpicked and chosen. God knew he needed someone to play the saxophone, just like he did here. His music created melodies that we all dance to. His music created new friendships that opened new doors for gigs. His language was not strange, just different. Only musicians understood. From Old Road to Roxborough to Buku, his name will still be well represented, because there's no way you can be in Tobago without someone saying, "Are you related to the Powders?" or "He is looking like a powder." Then the old talk will start. Uncle Chris was a Lipton tea bag person, and his breakfast laden on the table was well prepared. You may not hear him much, but give him a good talk and he will have that voice. Uncle Chris was also famous for his Saturday homemade soup. How I look forward to that whenever I pass through. I would want seconds. There's so many memories of Uncle Chris. He was a father, brother, uncle, cousin, and a grandfather. he played the role and played it well, just like he played the sax, which at times he will be in the gallery practicing, sharing his melody to nature as the nocturnal creatures peep. They can't sleep. They needed to know this new lullaby. Uncle Chris will live on in our hearts and our memories. We are still here, so let the flaming torch burn bright within us as we continue to walk this walk, bridging the gaps, connecting the dots in love, unity, and peace. Sleep in peace, Uncle Chris, until we meet again. That's it.
How old was he?
71.
70. Oh, wow, that's young.
That is, yes. Huh. Wow. And so that's a great tribute, though. That's a beautifully written tribute.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm glad you shared that. Man. Did you get a chance to share that yet?
Well, I'll be going home to share it. I'm going
Oh,
home.
you are going home?
Oh,
wonderful.
okay.
Going home.
Yeah. Good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. When is the funeral?
Next week, Tuesday.
Next Thursday? Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, that's a great way to end the program, and we want to keep you in prayer and keep your family
Yes.
in prayer. And
Yeah.
and that's a great celebration and a great tribute, I should say, to your
Yeah.
Uncle Chris. And so I hope you get a chance to read that to everybody.
Yeah.
So they can hear that. Good. Yeah, so all right. Well, I do want to thank you all as always. I feel like this is another family for me anyhow. I love you guys and love what you're doing, and hope that you'll keep writing and making things happen. And Neil, can't wait to well, I want to. We say we sometimes wish our life away. I don't want to speed it up, but I do read that book, brother. I do want to read that book. So if you decide to come out early, you won't have no protests here, man.
I got you.
That's all good. All right. And then thank you so much. Good stuff. Keep on doing what you're doing. I look forward to there on the 24th.
Yep.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun and everything. So yeah. And safe travels, Zill.
Yeah, safe travels with you.
Safe travels,
Yeah, definitely. Safe travel.
And do you plan on staying over there, coming back? Uh-huh.
I'm coming back. I'm coming
All
back.
right. Good. Well, we even have Zoom in Trinidad. We can even make that happen, even if you did stay. But it's all good. I hope that again the
I'll be
family
back
comes
on
together.
the 27th.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, everybody, thank you so much for coming on again, and thank you, Brother Chris.
All
Great
right.
show.
Right.
Thank you for the videos, man. Good stuff. All right, everybody, be blessed.
All right. Good night.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. Have a good night.
All right.
It's
Good
Good night.
a sleeping day tomorrow if it's snowing.
Yeah, you know it. All
All
right.
right.
All right. God bless.